right, guys, and thank you guys for joining us. If anybody has any questions or comments along the way, feel free to leave them, and we'll read through when we go through them. Please go ahead and share our video for us. Help us get this shared, and we appreciate that. I'm gonna share the video in our event that we made yesterday. So I've been wanting to get on and do this with some of the impacted families. And this is our first one. So thank you guys for being here. And we'll get started in just a second. Any impacted families who join us today, feel free to comment too and let us know you guys are here, and share your loved one's name there too as well. All right. And thank you to the people that are sharing the video for us. It's definitely appreciated. And yeah, okay. So whoever, I'll get started. Most of you guys, if you're on here, you know me. If you guys don't know me yet, my name is Marissa Barrera, and it's going to be our first episode for impacted families to share their loved one's story. So I'm talking about impacted families that have lost loved ones to police violence. My brother, Michael Barrera, was killed in 2017 in our hometown of Woodland by Woodland police. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this right now, and want to introduce Annemarie Grant. And she's wearing her FTP shirt. I love it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Marissa. I'm really glad that you decided to do this. It really gives us families a chance to tell our loved ones' stories. And I'm glad, like, a lot of people know you, so it's a lot easier to talk with somebody that you're familiar with, you know.
Definitely. I know you and I combined have probably done a lot of different things like this, and shared our stories in different ways, but it definitely is, it's different when you're talking directly to someone who understands and has been there too. Definitely different.
Well, this is actually my first time going live.
Hey, first time with me. I hope
camera shy.
That's usually me. I'm like, get on. So you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I don't know who's all with us right now. I'm still kind of getting used to the connecting the Zoom through Facebook Live, but I know we have some people that joined us on here. Guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I don't know who's all with us right now. We got some people on. We got a Justin Root. Jen here, sister to Justin Root, killed by 6 law enforcement officers. I'm so sorry for your loss. That was recent. That was February.
Marissa, I think we're getting a lot of feedback. Like, I hear the sound twice. Maybe is your speakers on, or?
I think because I was looking at the comments. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you can mute it and you can still see them, right?
Yeah, I just did that.
Okay, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. But so let's go ahead and get started. We just introduced Annemarie Grant. She's the sister of Thomas Purdy, and he was killed by police as well. Let's go ahead and start with you. I want to know, like, I feel like I know Thomas now from seeing your posts and things that you've shared. So if you want to just share some things about you guys growing up, anything about Thomas that makes Thomas Thomas.
Sure. So my brother was a father. He has 2 children. My brother was disabled, so I always felt like his older sister growing up, almost like his mother, because we don't have a close relationship with our mother. So I always felt like he was like my little brother, just because he was disabled mentally and he had a learning disability. But he had a lot of hobbies. He liked, it always amazed me how he could just, like, you'd think he was breaking something, but in actuality he was fixing it. But he'd take like a radio apart and be like, what are you doing? Like there really wasn't anything wrong with that, but somehow he'd get it back together and it would be working. And it seemed like he had a lot of hobbies. Like he'd stick with one thing for a while and move on to the next. Like he loved to golf. And so my father got him like, really good golf clubs, and they'd go golfing together. And then he moved on to like riding bicycles, and he liked to fix them too. So when he got the bicycle, he got like one of those like racer bikes. I don't know, but so he would take that apart too, put it back together, stuff like that. He also loved to fish. I don't have a lot of photos of Thomas, but one of my favorite pictures I have of him is when he was fishing up in Maine. He had gone with my aunt and uncle. He was really close with them. They had gone on a fishing trip there. I shared it a lot of times on my Facebook page, but he was a human being, he was my loved one. He had people who cared about him, my father, my brother, my cousins, our relatives, and there's a big piece of our life missing because he's gone,
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing when I'm talking about, whether it's my brother or another person who has been killed by police. It's really easy to hear about the killings and just not really understand. You can't understand something that you've never lived through, or but I try to always stress that importance. Like, this person was somebody to a lot of people, to all their people. They were a person, and that's missing from us now, and that's a lot. How about growing up? Okay, so growing up with Thomas, I've known people like that how you say, pull things apart, put them back together. Those are handy people. They come very handy. How about go ahead and share? I guess we get into that. The hard part, the part of sharing, what brought you here and just how things played out for Thomas and with your family.
Right. So on, it was like October 6th of 2015, I was at work and I got a call from my niece, and she was, like really hysterical and upset. And she said, Thomas is dead, is what she said at first to me. And I was at work and I'm like, what do you mean Thomas is dead? And I immediately like left the office and went outside, and then I got a little bit more from her. Well, he was on life support, and that they didn't know what happened. That what she said to me was that somehow he had banged his head up against the wall in the jail cell, and now he was on life support. I don't know where that story came from, but that was the initial story I got while I was at work. So I immediately left work and booked the next flight so I live in Boston, and this happened in Reno, and Thomas was in Reno when it happened. He was a guest at the Peppermill Hotel. So I got on the next flight out of Boston, me and my brother Dan. My father was in Georgia at the time, visiting his ex-wife. So he flew by himself to Reno. My sister, she left that day. She got an earlier flight somehow. She left on a flight alone. And then me and my brother Danny flew out there, and when we got to the hospital, and at that point we still had no idea what happened. And prior to my arrival and my brother Dan arriving at the hospital, apparently Washoe County Sheriff's Office came up to the hospital, and they wanted to talk to my father. And even at the time, not knowing anything, my father still told them to beat it, told them to get out of there, which I was really, happy that he did do that. Not knowing now what I know, how they are dirty and, everything that goes down. I was glad my father didn't talk to them. So then Sparks Police showed up. It was a female officer, Dorothy Peterson. 2 cops showed up at the hospital. So at this point, we still have no idea what happened to Thomas. So they came in playing like good cop, oh, we are going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to find out what happened to your brother. I can assure you that if there's a bad cop, if somebody did something wrong to your brother, they're going to be held accountable for it. And I said, well, what did happen to my brother? And she said, well, what we know so far is that the police were called to the Peppermill Casino. Your brother had been trespassed, and they said that my brother was talking crazy, not making any sense, and that he suddenly just stopped breathing. Well, no, she did. They did say my brother was out of control too. That my brother was completely out of control, and that, yeah, and that he just stopped breathing. So we were, we of course asked questions like to the female officer, like, well, do you guys have body cams? And well, why didn't anybody call ambulance? When Reno PD got called to the casino, why didn't they call an ambulance? And they told us, oh, well, the police aren't medical professionals. We don't have the right to do that, to make that call to call an ambulance, which I'm pretty sure that's bullshit. But for months, for about, I think it was about 6 months, I constantly just kept sending emails to the detective, that the independent investigation. So Washoe County, like a lot of police agencies, has the town over do the so-called independent investigation. So they all investigate each other, like in every other, a lot of other places. Reno PD, when Sparks PD kills someone, Reno PD will, investigate them. So anyways, the independent investigation went on for like 6 months. She did tell us at the hospital that there was video, and that we could see the video. They were going to show us the video before we left to go back to Boston. That changed the day we were going to leave. The day we were leaving Reno, that's changed. We couldn't see the video anymore. We'd be able to see it when their investigation was over. So meanwhile, Thomas was on life support, and the hospital told us that he was completely brain dead, that there was no brain activity. Basically, he died at the jail, and the machine was basically just keeping him alive, which I was upset too, the way the hospital handled it. The nurse actually asked us, so my father had to make the difficult decision to turn off the life support, and when my father was finally ready and able to do that, the nurse actually asked us if he wanted us to have him order a pizza for us. Does that not seem like crazy? Like, who would want a pizza while you're watching your loved one die? It just seemed totally crazy to me. But I don't know. It, things like that you notice when your loved one's like laying there. You have a little more compassion, I guess, than you would hope people would have. So when my father took Thomas off life support, he really was completely brain dead. He had been without oxygen for so long, but we didn't find out anyways till 6 months later what actually happened. And so what actually happened was Thomas was a guest at the Peppermill Casino. Thomas had taken an illicit substance, but Thomas was then having a mental health crisis, and he thought that someone was trying to kill him, and that was his crime. He asked security for help. And so security, they didn't help him. They kicked him out of the hotel, kicked him out. They didn't ask him if he was a guest or anything like that. They just basically roughed him up, escorting him out. And they called Reno PD, who then came and for unknown reasons, I don't know. I read the report, and even in their report, only thing they allege is that Thomas kicked his leg back one time when they had him up against the police cruiser. There is video of it. It's really grainy. It's hard to see what happens. I don't see any type of fight or struggle from Thomas, but so they ended up putting him in a hog tie, which is where they restrain so your hands are handcuffed, and then your ankles are tied together, and then the ankles and the handcuff are tied together behind your back. you know, like how, I don't know if you're familiar, they hog tie animals like that. So they're treating human beings that way. So they kept Thomas. So I got these videos from the casino. That's how I know what actually happened there. They put him in the hog tie. They kept him face down in the hog tie while they filled out their paperwork, while one officer had their knee on Thomas's back neck area the entire time that they were at the pepper mill, which was about 15 minutes. Then they take him up the jail. There's video from the jail. They bring him in. He's telling them that he can't breathe, begging for his life, telling them that he had major lung surgery. He needs an ambulance. They're going to kill him. At this point, he had been hogtied for like 30 minutes. They decide to bring him in. He was evaluated by a nurse who determined that he was okay to stay in the jail. I don't know. So, and then in the video, she asked him, "Sir, why do you need an ambulance?" And he said, "I told you I had major lung surgery. I'm gonna die." So they put him in this like tarp thing. He's still hogtied. And when they pick him up in the tarp to move him into the cell, you can see on the floor that there's a huge, it's like a dark spot. And what it was Thomas was soaked with sweat. And his clothes, yeah. So the whole ground was like a puddle from Thomas's sweat. Obviously, he was in a medical crisis at that point, and they should have sent him to a hospital. So they brought him in the cell then, and one of the deputies said, "Can we put him? How about we put him? Why don't we get him on his face down, and then we can get it off him?" They drag him into the. He's not fighting with him at this point. They say in the reports that he's fighting. What I see is someone struggling to live. He's in like an accordion, he's like hunched down like this. His body, he's trying to expand his diaphragm by stretching his legs out, is what I see. But anyways, they get him face down, relax, that's it, sir, just relax. Good. It's like, he's not fighting them. He's not, they just didn't know how to get the restraint off, the rip hobble restraint, because they don't use it at the jail. But 4 deputies, two were on his, one was on his like legs folded up into his back, and then 2 up near his neck and shoulder area. And the last thing he says is, all right, okay. And the video ends there, that video. And then when the video starts again, it's Thomas still face down in the cell in the same exact spot with his hands still behind his back and legs folded up like he was in the hog-tied position still. They literally waited 10 minutes before starting CPR once they went back into the cell. The nurse actually said he's probably faking. It was just, yeah, it was crazy.
So at this point, so then it's, we have the security at the pepper mill, you said?
Yep.
And we have the Reno PD. Then we're at the jail. So he's involved with the deputies at this point. And then also a nurse. It sounds like they all completely failed him and ignored the distress and physical everything.
They're all culpable. I don't know. Just all it would have taken is one person to stand up and say, "Hey, this guy needs to go to a hospital." Like, but I don't. They admit they knew he was under the influence, and they don't. And what bothers me the most is like they don't ever think they do anything wrong. They don't learn from it. They killed a man after my brother, same way, and before my brother, the same way. Yeah. So that's what happened to Thomas. Yeah.
My goodness. So, gosh, it's just hard to even imagine, like just thinking of myself as a regular person, if I was somewhere doing my job and you see someone like that, like I call that like, how do you co-sign this horrible behavior? Like this person is dying. Gosh. And, I wanted to also point out, how they say he kicked, there's always, as we know now, there's always something that they say people did, they kicked or they moved strangely or erratically or lunged or reached for their, there's so many and we know them all and I'm sick of hearing them, but
Oh yeah.
absolutely. I mean, we know that if they actually had something on camera showing that, this person actually did what they claimed, that would be shown. And what do we know? They never do. So I also just want to go back to, you said it was 6 months later that you guys actually got the truth of how that went down and got to see the videos.
Yeah, I did a public records request to all three agencies to get the videos, and they did give them to me.
So that was you personally going and doing it by yourself?
Yes. Yep.
So because you were proactive and you knew it wasn't right, you were searching, you used your skills to go dig deeper. You found out that how they murdered your brother and lied about it. That it's really, gosh. I mean, I'm very proud of you for doing that, and I know that Annemarie, you go out of your way and do the request for other families and have gotten other families, the information that they didn't have for their loved one's case. So I definitely I commend you for that. That's really tough. And
It
also,
makes me feel good helping, doing the public records request for families because I know how it helped me to have that information.
yeah, it makes me think too about all these impacted families out here. A lot of us, when this happens, we don't know what to do. Like we don't know about these things, and we don't realize, many of us at first aren't aware of the severity of this issue. So I can only imagine all the families out there that didn't do this and don't know the truth about how their loved one was killed.
Right.
God.
That's why I'm proud of you too, because your video that you made a couple of years ago. That's like a go-to video of mine for new families because it has so much information that really is useful. It's like they don't have a handbook. It's sad that impacted families have to, be the guide, but we'll do it because we don't want that we want this shit to end.
Yeah, and I know what you mean when you say, it helps you, it makes you feel better, being able to do that, because I know, I guess that's it. I just really know we feel like we get stuck because there's not really much we can do. But I guess we are here doing what we can.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened after you? I mean, I've watched the videos of the video and the audio. More Michaels was caught on audio, but so I've also had to be in that horrible situation of doing that, and it's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. I really don't watch the videos now. What I do, I call the Washoe County Commissioners once a week for their meeting, and I play the audio over the phone for them of Thomas. But I was just like, you motherfuckers, when I watching it, like in just tears, like I wanted to reach through that video. You just feel so helpless and just to see the terror and the torture and just the terror, just how terrified my brother Thomas was when he was killed is what really bothers me. But if I hadn't seen those videos, I would have never known the truth. I had to see them. I knew that it was going to be hard, but I knew that that they were lying. I didn't know to the extent, but I knew that they were lying. But then to see that my brother wasn't talking crazy. My brother was begging for his life. They're saying, oh, he was talking crazy. Apparently, crazy talk to them is saying you need an ambulance. Like, I feel like my family was lucky that it was caught on video because there's so many, where it isn't, and you don't know, you have your suspicions, but you can't prove it.
Yeah, I definitely relate. Just thinking back to my brothers since the beginning, it's like I think that you know, it's a combination. I know for me, it's a combination of my intuition and just feeling like right to my face, like you're fucking lying. And
Mm-hmm.
then just knowing my brother and knowing like he wouldn't do the things that they said he was doing. And you know, I'm sure you knowing Thomas, you're not gonna think that, oh, he's just going and attacking or whatever they're saying. Um, and I do want to also go back to the fact that, you know, he was in a mental health crisis and how many people that are having these incidents are being killed by police. Goodness. You've seen so many cases. So any words about that you'd like to share?
I just wish the general public would wake up and realize that. I try to stress, like, please don't call 911. Please try to have a backup plan if you do have a loved one that does have mental health issues, just because we know how many welfare checks have turned into the police killing somebody's loved one. Um,
And then a lot of them too are the one, like their family is the one that, yeah, that's why you're saying. And it's just I know a lot of those families, I can't imagine, you know, that being what led up. I definitely try to share that with people too, but I feel like the general public, they hear us, but they ain't listening.
no,
They ain't
no, I
listening.
know. I feel like sometimes, and I'm sure we all feel this way, like we're spinning our wheels some days. But I do, like, my honest opinion of how the only way this is going to stop is we have to stop them from having the legal right to kill us. We have to get rid of, qualified immunity and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
just gives them the right. There's the federal laws, but then each state has their own laws too. I just see it over and over again when they justify a murder, like in Washoe County, Nevada, where Thomas was killed. They cite the same NRS that allows a peace officer. What a joke, right? That's some name, a peace officer, to kill people. But yeah.
So I'm gonna read a couple of the comments we've gotten. I haven't been in here the whole time, so I'm just gonna kind of see what they're saying to us because we got a bunch. So I'm gonna go through these and then we'll get back to talking. And I don't think anybody watching, I don't think I'm seeing all of them right now. I will after. So if I miss you, it's not on purpose. And thank you guys. We got 16 people with us right now. Thanks for being here and being supportive. Justin Brew, on top of murdering our loved ones, they send us on a chase for the truth. And absolutely, absolutely. I know we all have our own, all of us different families have our own little journey and the way it went down and our different loved ones, but ultimately they all end up being the same. Same get down. That's how I refer to it. You have a comment saying you could also go back further and see if the officers involved or the jail prison has a history of this. Oh yeah. Annemarie has been, I admire you and everything you've done and being on them like that. And then Marty Winkler, hello. You usually only find some of the truth if you do. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. There's some more. Marty again, that's so true. There needs to be a handbook on dealing with the aftermath. So many people don't know how to navigate against the corrupted system. People try to find a good attorney. Yes, I definitely agree. And I know I mentioned it. I had started a book on it and I have just, it's like, it started and that's one of my goals to finish, you guys. And I will one day, you guys will get.
You sure will. You got your hands in so many pots.
Yeah. And then that's so true. All the time people need to wake up how corrupt and violent police and also the guards in jails are. I know who was in Arizona prison said they would handcuff and throw down the stairs and write it up as they fell. Yeah. Yeah, and something that after it's been almost, you've been around here a little longer than me in this, but it's almost been 4 years for us. And I lost my train of thought.
I feel like my fight really didn't begin with like as far as being connected with other. I felt really lonely until, you know, of course, Angel Rick Hill. I didn't know him. He sent a message to a page, a Facebook page I run anonymously, and he I just had a feeling like, oh, I think it's okay to let this guy know who I am. And then I did. I told him my story and about Thomas, and you know, he suggested I join his disarm the police page, and that's, I'm sure that's where I connected with you, was on there. But before then, I you know, I really wasn't obviously, like, I was fighting for Thomas, but I wasn't as active in the activism before I got connected with other families. Because I've said this before, like, I feel like I get my strength from the other families, you know.
Definitely. I was actually going to ask, I was thinking about it just leading up to this. I was like, I can't even recall how I know it's, you're probably the disarm, but I don't recall. I just know,
Yeah.
and we've been tight since.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, that's actually how it is with most of the other people that I befriended through our tragedies. Um,
So I just know like what a support system it is for me, and what a door it opened for me. So that's why I do try to like reach out to other families, newly impacted, or families, you know, that lost a loved one maybe 15 years ago. If I am lucky enough to find them, you know, through social media or whatever, and they accept my friend request, because I just know how you guys all help me and support me. And I want to make sure that other people that are alone out there, that maybe haven't connected yet, have that same support system.
yeah. So I don't know if you can see from your screen, but I'm sharing a quick video I made with some of the photos from you, Annemarie.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just hoping I did it right, but I just want people to see Thomas, you know, as a person. He's a whole person, and that's your family. That's something. That's your brother. Something that.
Yeah, this picture there is that's when my father lived in Florida. Thomas lived with him. That picture when we were like in our bathing suits.
Okay.
But we had all flown down there, me and my other brother's family, and we were down there for like 10 days. And Thomas always said how that was like the best vacation and the best time he ever had. He always talked about it. So I really like that photo. It's been like my profile picture for like
Yeah.
the last 3 years.
Yeah. No. Goodness. Yeah. No.
And then, you know, the picture like of Thomas at the hospital, I think that's like my go-to picture to show, because it just shows the reality of what they did to my brother, you know. People need to see it. The public needs to see it.
They definitely do. You know what, Emery, I got a comment on here that I want to get to. So it's Susan Neese. Hello, Susan. She says, I'm so sorry for your losses. I lost my son, Chad Bren Holtz, while in custody in Utah last year. The case is still open. I'm wondering what you would do differently. That's a great question. You could, if you have any words, Anne Marie.
What I would do differently, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if her family has a lawyer. We didn't get a lawyer until nobody would take the case until I got the video. But I know once you have a lawyer, they're going to tell you don't do anything. You know, they want you to rely on them. And I just feel like a lot of lawyers leave you in the dark. But if you don't, I wouldn't be afraid to push them for answers if they haven't given you reports. Every state has different public records laws, but there is the Freedom of Information Act, which I believe is a federal Freedom of Information Act. But don't trust the police. Don't believe, I hate to say it, if it really kills me. I hate saying this because I sound like a pessimist, but it's the reality of it, that some families get their hopes up that the district attorney is going to, you know, say that the shooting or the killing wasn't justified. But I rarely have ever seen that. And I hate to say it, but like if you're not that advanced yet in the case yet and you haven't got a decision, just prepare yourself mentally for the idea that there won't be justice through the district attorney at this point. And civil suits are really the only, I don't call it justice. I think it's blood money, but it's the only form of any type of actual chance at justice in air quotes. But yeah, just, I really don't know what else I would say on that.
Yeah, I'll
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll just hop in too and just like definitely agree with Annemarie. Like, don't trust. You don't want to trust the cops. Anybody like that you're speaking to. Really, at that point, I would also dig into that county jail also. Try to see if there, how someone mentioned to Annemarie earlier, other cases of brutality or killings. As you may find allies that you didn't know, and that could be other families or victims. That same jail. And I felt so bad having to, see comments like this. And anytime I've made videos, I often get comments like this, and they're from families that are, after our brothers were killed. And I just, it's not even explainable. It's worse than hurtful. We live through this, and then we have to help other people. We try to help other people cope through it, and it's really difficult. So again, Susan, so sorry for your loss. Yeah. So okay, I want to get a little bit to you and just what you've been doing with connecting with families and stuff. And how did that start, like after you met Rick? And how was it for you to kind of see like, hey, this is like not just, this didn't just happen to us, there's so many.
Yes, it's overwhelming. There's so many families, and it's not even the tip of the iceberg. The ones that we do know is just such a small portion of people that have been killed by police. But yeah, like I said, when Rick connected me, and just knowing how that support really changed my life, and knowing I wasn't alone, is what motivated me to try to reach out to other families. And I do that by, so I also have been for a couple of years now. I post daily the names of the victims that were killed by police on that day since the year 2000. And I get, I've also been helping D. Brian Berghart from Fatal Encounters. So a lot of the entries on the site don't have photos. So I'll go through, I've been going through for about 2 years now, trying to find any photos that may be available to put on the site. I just feel like it's important for there to be a face with the name, because it helps. They already dehumanized the victim, so we've got to do everything we can to humanize them, and I think a photo can help do that. So I have been doing that and sharing the names, but that's how I connect. I get lost down the rabbit hole a lot, because there's so many cases that it like disgust me, and I have to look further into them, and I literally spend hours doing it. Like when I update my posts, I get lost down the rabbit hole. But so what I'll do is if there's a case I'm looking at, I'll try to find the picture, and usually I can find it on the obituary. sad, I know. And then that's where I get the family's names, and I'll take you know, the loved one's name. I always love when they have a unique name, because then it makes it easier for me to find them on Facebook if they have a Facebook page. You know, it's not easy to find a John Smith compared to, you know, a really different name. So then I'll reach out to them, and I will admit that I have had a few people, not anybody that hey, baby Michael. Hi, yeah, I said hi to you. I'll reach out to them. Most people have welcomed the support. I have had a couple people that I hadn't reached out to them, but they somehow found my post, and they were upset that their loved one was on it. Their name was on the list. They said, you know, they didn't want their loved one to be associated with being killed by police. Yeah. I mean, the facts are the facts, you know. I think, you know, we all can, I guess, understand why some people would say that, because we know there's a negative stigma that comes along with being a loved one of a victim killed by police. So, I mean, I can understand that. But other than that, the few, maybe 2 or 3 people that have had a negative reaction to my posts, or to being reached out to, other than that, I get positive reaction, and I think that that it's also positive for the person too, once they're able to connect with other families. I think all of us who are connected with other families, we know a lot of other families, but we all find, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 other loved ones that we really connect with, and that we can go to, and are like a really great support system. So that just motivates me to continue trying to connect other families.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. 1 second. Go ahead. Run by. Baby cried as soon as you left, Mom. I'm still alive. Okay, my babysitter had to come back in real quick. So
No worries.
but yeah, I do like, so you do so many.
I'm lucky I don't have a little one. Mine's grown. He's distracted by PlayStation, so I have no distractions. Marissa's a mama. Doesn't it? I mean, I wish I had more. I learned my lesson after 1, though. I'm just kidding.
It's good. She's like, don't get me in the video, but she grabbed the baby. So yeah, when I was going through to get some pictures for that video I played, I was just, I know how much you do and that you did the daily postings, but I'm just like, wow. Like, so if anybody wants to see what we're talking about, if you go to Annemarie's page, is it public?
Yeah, my page, yeah, those photos would all be public, yeah.
Yeah, so you will, if you just scroll through her photos, you'll see a ton of faces, variety of people, ton of people and faces, and yeah, definitely. I know that people appreciate that. I know when my brother was first killed, there were, you know, some people that reached out to me like, hey, I'm so and so, and they lost a loved one too. And it was so, like, to me, you know, when you're going through all of that and just like, huh, like, wait, what? And I still remember and will always remember those people, you know, who reached out when I was
Yeah.
felt like we had nobody, you know, on our team, or, you know, speaking out for my brother with us. Has So I wanted to ask you, this is my curiosity, you know. We got about 5 minutes. So I wanted to ask, what were your like feelings or thoughts towards police prior to this? Like, how was?
I would say I wasn't a police supporter. I was kind of just, I guess I was just naive. I would say the word is naive, knowing what I know now. When I would hear that someone was shot by police, I would just automatically, you know, the police narrative, they say, oh, man with gun. And in my mind, it was like, oh, they must have been trying to shoot the cop. The cop must have had a reason. And I feel really guilty about it, to be honest with you. I feel like, geez, like it did take for me to personally be affected to wake the fuck up. So it's like, I don't want it to happen to other people. So what is going to make them wake up? Because I know but there are good people out there who are awake. You know, we've met some of them. You know, we know there are people, so we can't lose hope. But yeah, I would say I definitely didn't support the police. I didn't like them. I've been arrested before. I
About
have
on
a
the same
mouth.
page.
I've always had one. But now, oh God, I fucking hate them. And I let them know every opportunity I have. Like, I look forward to running into them. The elevator opened in my building. This probably a couple weeks back. I pressed the button waiting for the elevator. I'm standing there with my son. It opens up. 3 pigs are on there. I go, oh no, I don't ride the fucking elevator with pigs.
Nope.
And the cop was like, what did you say? I said I don't ride with pigs. And then the door shut. And no. And then he goes, good, because I don't want to ride with you either. And I said, oh, maybe then I'll get on. And the door shut. But yeah, anytime, like, if I know they're outside, I'm going out there to start filming them and talking shit to them, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty much how my saying. Yeah, I love when you do that, and some people I know don't agree with us. I know after my brother was killed, I don't have the same friends. I don't even talk to the same family.
Mm-hmm.
People that were my people before, they ain't around now. And so how was that experience for you and your family, or were there conflicts within, or?
Yeah, well, I feel like within my family, my sister, I'm not really close with her anymore, but my dad lives with her. But it pisses me off. I picked my dad up one day, and she had a fucking like thank you, like it was like a pottery thing hanging on her door, but it had like the firefighter thing, but it also had like the blue line flag on it.
Shit, I broke that shit.
I know, that's what I said to my father. I'm like, Dad, that needs to disappear. Hello, like it just bought like, I don't understand that. Your brother was killed by the police. How can you like hang any type of gang emblem up on your door? You know, my sister, I think, was upset with me. She told me that I killed my brother because I had sent him $100 the night, like 2 days before. He had called me and he needed a phone charger. And he only asked me to send him $15, but I wasn't just going to send him 15. So I sent him $100. So in her mind, I guess that killed my brother, sending him money. I don't know. She's got, I don't know. I think it affects everybody in a different way, and people lash out at whoever. And my sister isn't really somebody who can express her feelings, like maybe in an appropriate way. But as far as like friends, nothing upset me more than seeing, like, when the cop in Weymouth here, the town next to me, was killed, like everybody changing their profile pictures to like the blue line flag and this and that. And like, I put a status up like, I don't give a shit how long I've known you. If you have a blue line profile picture, you are not my friend. You're supporting this dead cop, but have you reached out to me? When's the last time you reached out to me to see how I was doing? My brother was killed by the police, you know? So yeah, I've unfriended and disassociated with a lot of people that I used to hang out with. Mm-hmm. It's tough, you know, because the people that you expect to support you through trying times that are supposed to be there. If I had said, hey guys, my brother was jumped by 4 guys who got on his back and suffocated him to death, it would be, those bastards need to fry, they need to go to jail. But when you hear that it was a pig, if someone, just because they're wearing a little costume and a badge, that justifies murder in a lot of people's minds. Yeah.
It's the strangest thing to me because I know like how you felt about the cops before, even like you don't like them, but da 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 da. And when you heard about killings, same exact for me. So, but I always think back to like, okay, well, if my best friend or if someone in my community that I knew or something, like I feel like I would like listen to them because like we're here, the cops could say one thing, but I'm like, dude, you guys are fucking listening to the narrative from the killer themselves, from the killers. Like,
And you know me, you know my family.
yeah, like how does that even make sense? Like, it's hard. And I also, same exact, Annemarie, we got so much in common. A cop was killed in the county that my brother was killed in, the town over, a couple years after, and same thing. Yeah. And then how you said, people that, supported, never supported you, it goes back to, that made me think, and probably the last thing I'll share. I know I'm going on, but made me think about how I know I experienced this and many other impacted family members when the killings like George Floyd, that got popular, not popular, but they hit the mainstream media and everything and went viral. During that time, it's like that happened to me as well, where people that know us and even were friends with my brother, even one of my family members who was my brother's cousin, I say was my brother's cousin, I don't consider it,
Yeah.
but like they're sharing posts, like supporting that. And then I'm like, hey, you've never, like, you haven't even talked to me. And when, so like, I don't see you, like, how can you write a post about George Floyd and you don't even mention that Michael was killed by the police in your hometown? Like, so, I mean, I'm sure you experienced that as well.
I don't take issue with you using the word popular, because honestly, it feels like people, like, they jump on a bandwagon if it's like it hits the media and it's a big thing and then it like fades out, it does feel like that, this is the thing, this is the cool thing to like protest now, because the media it's all over the media or whatever. So I don't take issue with you using that.
Yeah, I kind of caught myself. I'm like, I shouldn't say popular, but it really is that in this community, and it's sad. I know Woodland, they had there's protests for George Floyd where my brother was killed, and I know the PD even sent out condolences to George Floyd's family, and it's just crazy. I don't know. I think it's like, people are brainwashed. That's what I come down to. Like, people are fucking brainwashed.
Agree.
I'm like, I don't know, or they're stupid or something, but I know I was ignorant.
Oh, they have the cop dick down their throat. That's my favorite meme, but I don't post it on Facebook anymore because I caught like a ban for that. And those bootlickers will report anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got reported the other day. Okay, so is there anything that you want to finish off with maybe, I mean, either whether it's something you want to share towards the other families or just listeners, or anything you want to leave off about, your brother, police killings in general, anything?
I just want to let all the other families know that I'm always here to support you. We're going to get justice one of these days. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep going. If you get tired and burnt out, take a break. To do some self-care. You have to take care of yourself first and be mentally ready. If you can't fight today, that's okay. There's always tomorrow. There's always another day. Don't lose hope, because we're stronger together and we need each other, and we all have to keep fighting for our common goal. We can't have our loved ones back. I wish people would appreciate that fact more, that we're fighting for everybody else who hasn't experienced this type of pain, because we don't want them to. And they one day, hopefully they'll realize that and appreciate that. And just justice for Thomas Purdy, justice for all stolen lives, justice for Michael Barrera. And thank you for having me on, and thank you for your organization. I think you're going to do really great things with it and help a lot of families.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming on. I just and I want to share, just before we end off, this is the first episode of we're doing a different impacted family for the rest of the year. My goal is to do different impacted family each week. So I already have next week, Tristan Miller, his mother Trina will be on here with me, sharing their story. So, and if there are any families who want to join, I've talked to some, I'm barely getting this going. So any families that want to come and share their loved one's story, feel free to reach out to me. I've reached out to a few, but you know, I have hundreds on here, so there's a lot. And then if there's anybody who doesn't feel comfortable doing a one-on-one, I will have some group discussions down the line too. So that's an option. I know it's hard for some people to come and speak and share. So yeah, okay, Annemarie, thank you for coming on and sharing and all your work. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, okay, I'll talk to you later. You have a good night.
All right, bye, girl.
Bye, guys.